Hey, how's it going? And today I'm going to show you how to create some basic grass in LightWave that doesn't look half bad. So you got to come here to D Pont's website. This guy is doing a fantastic job keeping current. I love this guy. He's great. But you got to download this, and it's got all these textures, and the one we're going to be looking at is grass. So we're going to come in here to layout, and we'll just go into model. We're going to go into geometry, ground plane, go OK. Then we're going to zoom in here a little bit. And then if I turn the scroll wheel, I'm just going to stretch this thing this way, and I'm going to stretch it that way. What I'm trying to do is basically get this sort of to the horizon a little bit. I might not quite make it, but just to fill the screen essentially was what I want to do. So if I create a false horizon, but I want to be able to see the sky. So let me just match my perspective real fast. If I go into BPR, I can see my horizon. So what I would do here is I might adjust my view so I can see the horizon here, and just so I have a line that I can see. So the grass will be here and the sky will be here. You can go onto the backdrop and tighten this up a little bit just to make it look more like the sky, and that should take care of that. Now all we have to do is go into the surface editor. Let me make sure I match again. And then I'll just go into the surface editor. I'll go into, I can drop this down, but let's just put it at 0.01 for right now. And we go into the edit node graph. I've already got the textures downloaded. They're right here. It's a 2D texture and it's grass. Double click it, it comes here. This is really cool. One way to learn how to use this is just by playing around. So one thing we do is we just put the color in there, and we're going to put the bump into bump. You'll notice it looks kind of cool. I mean, there's a lot of different, you might just like that look, but that's not quite what we're looking for. So we're just going to come in here and put it on the Y, and that kind of gives us the beginning of it. If you play around with this, this could actually look like seaweed or something, but we want it to look like grass. So let's just try 0.2 and then hit tab 0.2 and see where that gets us. It's still not good enough. So let's go down to 0.1, 0.1, 0.1 and see if that does it. It takes a while for it to render out. So I think we want to go even more. So I'm going to go 0.01, 0.01, 0.01, 0.01. See what that gets us. That's pretty grassy looking. You could leave it like that if you wanted to. I mean, that does look like grass. Now I notice in doing this, it's kind of it creates almost kind of a misty look. And this does take a little while to render out. Yeah, I think that's a real nice grass look right there. That's pretty much all you got to do. Now, the one thing you can do to add a little bit more texture to it is if you come over on the edit node graph, you'll notice that if I click here that the bump won't turn up over 100. What I've noticed is if you click on the E into the envelope and we come here and make sure we're on 100%, just click on that keyframe, you can increase it here. So if you just put in 600, you can go over the limit, so to speak. On the specularity, even if it's at 0.001, it's still that kind of misty look. It's just a 2D procedural, so it's just kind of a quick and dirty way to get a grass look. And when I look at it on my monitor, it takes a while for it to render out, but it does definitely look like grass. One thing you could try to do, that maybe if that's too fine of grass, so let's go back in here, is we could, oh, I just noticed that. Let me 0.01. Oh, I think that's going to help it quite a bit. I must have messed up there. I didn't catch that. That looks really good. I'm just wondering though, I think I maybe lowered it too much. So why don't we try, let me try 0.1 again here and see where that gets us. 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. It's way too big. So let's see. That, although that does look like seaweed, we'll do 0.05. 0.05. Oops. Tab 0.05. It just seems like it's a little too fine. So you might just have to play around with the settings. That's actually looks like a nice compromise right there. And you just let it render out, and it's a good, for a 2D procedural, I think it looks pretty darn good. Now what's interesting about this is if you go in the surface editor here, and if we kill the specularity completely, it really changes the appearance quite a bit. So let's see what that looks like. You can tell it just takes a long time to render out. I almost think you could go in and looking at this and maybe just add a little bit of volumetric to it. That looks pretty good, actually. It looks a little flattened, but I think with the bump increased, it does have some 3D texturality to it coming up. It actually does look pretty good. So you could just do it like that as well. That looks good. That looks good too. So if we wanted to have a little bit of that misty look, and of course you'd want to fix this horizon line because that looks pretty fake, but this doesn't look half bad at all. It really doesn't. It looks good. Maybe you'd want to take it down to 0.03. So just play around with it, but I'm just curious real fast. I'll do this if we go into render properties. And if we put some volumetrics in there, but take this way down, maybe make it like 1%, that might be a good compromise approach. Because that kind of misty look to it seems to really help the grass. It just seems to add a quality to it. So anyways, that's all I had for today. I hope you found this helpful. Take care, have a great day, and if you have any other tips or tricks on this yourself, I'd be happy to hear. Take care, have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.